Right, shall we start? All good? Thank you. Hi everyone, good afternoon and welcome for today's session. There was like a previous session that I was taking and there were some technical glitches because of which we were not able to start it in time. So really sorry for that. Now as we are going to start this given subsegment associated with the essay, because essay was the previous session. So as we are going to start with the sociology optional workshop, first and foremost, I'll give you like basic insight associated with what is the potential of this optional, because many of you, after speculating, because this is like August end, we are starting the batch on 1st of September. So this is like the time when a student has been like fairly exposed to how to go ahead with the preparation. So I will encourage your questions like pouring in. In between, I'll be just substantiating what all we are going to create. So this given subsegment of like sociology optional is going to support you massively in your GS preparation as well. Unlike many other optionals which have a limitation to support the GS component. Popularly, it is perceived that this area is going to support the component of Indian society and social justice. That's a superfluous understanding of this area. Anyone who is thorough with the sociology optional syllabus will realize that from the very first chapter, the moment you see the topic that is associated with we can consider the emergence of sociology as a discipline, you get exposed to European history like Industrial Revolution, French Revolution, period of enlightenment. Simultaneously, there are topics related to polity that get prepared because we have political system in the syllabus. So you tend to prepare the topics of polity like pressure group, like NGOs, like what is the idea of nation, nation state. So many sub segments related to the theoretical understanding of polity is also supported from sociology. You can see that topic related to GS paper 3 economy, related to rural agrarian social structure and transformation is also supported from this given area of sociology, because the sociology syllabus incorporates the topics related to rural agrarian social structure, whereby the class, legal, like we can say land reforms, all the various types of interventions which are carried forward in the present time, all of it is consolidated together. You can also find that this given area related to this paper can also support a brief understanding of GS paper 4, ethics, integrity, aptitude as well. Because ethics emerge from social contexts. We can see values emerge from the societal understanding that what is universally important, correct, and necessitated for a society. So we can see that you have a topic like inculcation of values by family, educational institutions, and society. And in general, you can see a lot of understanding is also supported and consolidated accordingly. Again, when we are speaking of this given sub-dimension, we can see that this component is going to support you associated with the understanding of essay. Yes, essay. Every once in a while, you'll see that in the optional class, when you are studying with me, a lot of examples are given, a lot of insights are given, which, and examples as well, anecdotes as well, that we all will be able to connect with the sub-segments that would be supporting the content accordingly, right? So when we are discussing about this, okay, so, okay, now Vishal, the question is like, are you interested to attend the session, this workshop? Because I can see the nature of questions that you are raising is probably not that of a civil servant. The very motivation to be present in this class is hyphenating the given dimension that you are interested to like be a part of this course, right? So how about the given possibility that you start exercising the behavior of a balanced civil servant who's a friend, philosopher, and guide for the society, right? So the kind of engagements you are holding, let it now become more seasoned, more like associated with a civil servant, right? And I apologize on his behalf to other students who are tormented unnecessarily, which is not needed. And I think that polishing can be taken care of in the class, right? So with respect to this, we all can reflect upon certain other segments related to, we can say, the component of sociology optional. So here, as we are like heading towards the given subsegments pertaining to it, we can connect it with, we can connect it with, just a second, why is the board not working? Yeah, so we can connect it with the kind of like results that we all can find. So here I have just provided a brief insight associated with the kind of results sociology has presented. Sociology, the 2019 result, it is actually like we can say it is presented by Department of Personnel and Training. It was uploaded by Department of Personnel and Training. So rather than, I would say that sharing the given insight associated with this given topic, we all can get into like the possibility of what it is creating consistently. Okay, consistently. So when we are getting into the given subsegment, we all can, just a second, there is some technical glitch at one end. Probably I can just share the given possibility. Yeah. So when we are speaking of this, we all can probably like look into the dimension related to what sociology has created over the years. So in 2019, we all can see that Department of Personnel and Training has released this result, that sociology, when we are talking about it, has presented, like the students who appeared with sociology optional was 1263, and we can see that 126 students got selected, that is 10% result was coming from sociology. Please do understand, when we are talking about this percentage, this is consistency in performance. See, unlike like certain optionals which can create turbulence, like something like too high and then something going too low, on an average you can find that the component of sociology gives like a competency in selection when we are talking about it. So we all can see that sociology is something which creates a sense of balance in terms of marks, whereby a student can very easily score anything between, I would say, 280 on a high side to, we can say, 325. Okay, 327 has been highest so far, but on an average getting 315 as the all India topper or 320 as all India topper is possible. This year the topper was having 315. Last year the topper had 304 and he was my student. Had taught him few years back. So when we are talking about this given optional associated with sociology, we all can reflect upon what kind of intervention it can cause for all of us. So I hope all the students, can you find this session live, and like I can see your chat. So if there are any queries, any kind of like we can say questions that you have, feel free to like share it. I will keep consolidating that while explaining the given concepts. So this trend I can show you in 2017, 16, 15, 14. Accordingly, you can see the percentage of selection on a high side it has been 11.7, on a low side it has been 8, and on an average it has been 10. 2019 also I showed you after 17, just the previous sheet, you can see that has been associated with 2019, and we all could see that it was associated with, just a second, it was associated with the component of 10% selection coming from sociology, right? So 10% is what we can consider when it comes to consistency in delivering the results associated with sociology, right? When we are discussing about the same, okay, we all can connect it with the results. When I said it can be 300 plus, you can see this is the mark sheet of Anu Kumari, and when we reflect upon her sociology marks, you can see 163 plus 155. You sum toto it 300 plus. This is what I was suggesting to all of you. Another candidate, that is Pradeep Singh, in first attempt, he was just 22 years old. First attempt, he cracked the exam, okay, All India under 100 rank, and that was associated with, you can see the sociology marks, that is 171 plus 136. So you can see that this student has also scored something around 307 marks, right? So sociology, you can see, is a consistent performer. When we reflect upon the syllabus, this is the syllabus which all of you can like reflect upon. some very interesting topics. The moment I say sociology, so it is societas plus logos. Societas is associated with society and logos is associated with scientific study or systematic study. So scientific study or systematic study, when we talk about it from that given perspective, we all can reflect upon the given topics or the given chapters which are given over here. You can see this. Sociology, the discipline. This is what is written. Sociology, the discipline, like how the discipline is emerging and coming into action. Then we can see sociology as science. So whether sociology should be treated as a scientific subject, should it be treated like a natural science, or if it is a social science, then how and why? And when you try to justify it, that yes, sociology is not based on common sense, it is something which is a scientific inquiry to study the society and provide solutions related to the social problems that emanate. We can reflect it from the perspective of hope. We can connect it with the possibility of breakthroughs. So when we are discussing about hope, when we are discussing about the breakthroughs, we can connect it with like research methods and analysis. Research methods and analysis, right? So the research methods and analysis is also a subtopic of this given dimension. So far, see, there was a batch that I started in July, and I was taking 3 sessions per day. So, and then again in August, I started with 4 sessions per day. So we like a sizable chunk has been completed over there, whereby I imply to say almost 3 chapters have been completed. We started with like sociological thinkers. So as like the new batch starts, I will be like dealing with the sociological thinkers and all the rest of the topics. You will be seeing the component related to, we can say, work and economic life, politics and society, religion and society, family, marriage, kinship, social changes in India, introducing Indian society, tribal communities in India, rural agrarian social structure, transformation, industrialization, population, social movements, challenges of social transformation. All of it shall be dealt systematically. After completing this given subsegment, I will be again, like, all the students who join in the new batch, they will be getting associated with the 2 topics that they have missed out. So research methods and analysis is yet to be taught, okay? But sociology is a science for giving a basic, we can say, like I would say, engagement that was provided. So this will be taken later along with one more topic, that is stratification and mobility. These 2 topics I will be taking up, okay, towards the end for the new batch. Other than that, rest everything is going to be fresh for them. You shall be supported with a lot of segments. You will find that in the class, as I go ahead with explaining the topics, my students who have been like my old students, whether in GS or in SA, they know this teaching pedagogy that I have incorporated over the years, and that is associated with not getting into like providing a lot of dictation. I find dictation is mechanical, beyond a point boring and non-creative. Anything that can be dictated can be supported also with material. So what method I follow or prescribe is I provide handouts to the students. For every topic that I teach, the dictation that can be provided is converted into a soft copy, and that is provided to the students so that before the lecture starts, before the chapter starts, you can read it and get an overview. In the lecture, I explain the concepts, draw flow charts, discuss the entire concept, and after the completion of the chapter, we indulge in the previous year questions, how to deal with them, how to provide answers associated with them, what all dimensions need to be put forth. Okay, so that is something that I try to create for the students. Other than that, once a sizable number of chapters are completed, then I also provide booklets. So booklets are different from handout. Handout is a simplified version, more like I can say that a gist of IGNOU along with mixed with certain other simpler sources. Like for chapter 1, you can think of T.B. Baltimore, or you can think of certain insights coming from Ritzer, and certain diagrams, certain perspectives that can also be consolidated related to it. So when we are let us say building upon the concept, when we are building upon the insights, you will be realizing that I also support, after the handout is given, then I also support with a booklet. What is the booklet comprising of? uh, I would say that's a complete inspiration which I have taken from my professors from the past. So my university professors, I have observed this dimension with respect to them, that while teaching us, we all can see this given dimension, that my professors, they used to indulge in this practice, that they used to provide like, handout. And with respect to those handouts, what we used to do is like, we used to read that, and those handouts used to be taken from specific chapters of different noted thinkers. So we could not purchase those books. So if ma'am used to have that book, she used to like get the photo state done and provide it to the class representative, and then we used to get our copies done. Anyway, you don't have to undergo all that rigor, because we will be consolidating that in the form of a booklet. So booklet is nothing but, we can say, consolidation of relevant articles from different books which a civil services aspirant should read to develop a basic academic understanding of sociology. Because in the end of the day, it is the academician who is evaluating your copy. It is senior central university professors who are evaluating your copy. So it is very, very essential for a student to come up with, I would say, a meaningful engagement and understanding of the given topic, right? So, and how can that happen? So, a basic understanding created in the class with simpler examples, flow charts, conceptual clarity of each and every technical term, every jargon, then engaging with the previous year question paper. So, building the concept through and through in totality. Also, there's one more thing which I do. Some senior central university professors, if they have also explained the same topic in their own words, I share the link in our Telegram group. Yes, we have a Telegram group, which is like a two-way channel to interact. Not only I, but students also have the intellectual freedom to push the content, to share the content accordingly. Okay, and any content which they feel is relevant to the topic. So it is an intellectual space, an academic space for all to interact and share. So everyone can share their insights, their perspectives, their, we can say the theoretical clarities that they need. Okay, or even like there are doubts, so students can personally reach out to me. Suppose I'm taking a GS class, students send images and then they send the question that what problem they are suffering from, and then through an audio message or by typing the answer, I regularly post the answer. Generally, I give the answer within 24 hours. If God forbid there is some reason because of a lot of messages, if it gets suppressed, I request the students that if someone's message is not responded within 24 hours, kindly repost it. Because sometimes there can be engagements because of which certain questions, like not certain, 2 or 3 on a high side max, can be missed out. Okay, but on an average, each and every student with respect to personal hand holding in sociology is taken care of. Once almost 2 to 3 subtopics are cleared or chapters are covered, I see to it that a regular test is conducted. So the test is evaluated, it is shared. So students from other regional centers, other parts of India, like they receive the material in soft copy. They, like with respect to whatever they have to send in a test, so they scan it, they send it. We also evaluate it and send it. Other than that, if someone is into regular answer writing, the child directly sends that answer to me. No in-between filters, no in-between channel. I personally look into the answer or the way the child is preparing notes and give a feedback, whether the way the notes has been prepared is up to mark or not. Okay, so it's like no in-between mentorship. Okay, only in test evaluation, I seek help when we are talking about this given dimension. So with respect to this given dimension, when we are how to prepare for current affairs in paper 2. Yes, with respect to current affairs in paper 2, Mohammed, as you are asking this, what I can suggest regarding this given dimension is that you need to bring in the insights from sociological perspective. People think that it is like whatever is happening around us just needs to be written like it has to be written in GS. No, not really. Like let us say hashtag Me Too movement. If it is asked in sociology, you don't have to write only about what is Me Too movement all about. Maybe certain critical reflections made by thinkers or theorists across the world, not necessarily sociologists. They can be political scientists, they can be think tanks who are recognized in other walks of life. So what have they said? Any meaningful critical reflection that they have said, you have to just give 2-3 such references as well. Because if it is a 10 marker question, 150 word question, your answer becomes sociological only when you are able to prove what you are saying is not common sense. What you are saying is scientific. And how can you prove that what you are saying is not common sense, it is scientific? When you are able to prove or validate the same, right? Because you are not a researcher, so you cannot do the research. So by the, we can say, critical reflections, the intellectual reflections of those who have done the research. So you have to reflect who has done the research. And then you realize that yes, there are a lot of think tanks who have done the research or who have who have a theoretical understanding of the thing. When they say it and when you quote them, you are backing your perception, your understanding with the insight of an intellectual who has done research. Hence, your reflection becomes sociological. So either a survey, if not a survey, then any research body, a research group, or it can be a researcher from any university or a think tank, any of them, or any newspaper which is publishing. Because when a newspaper is publishing, it takes responsibility of the authenticity of the content. Okay. So from any of the sources, when you are quoting the source and then talking about a fact, the answer becomes sociological. Unlike the common perception that, oh, current affairs is also asked in sociology paper too. Okay. It's not current affairs per se. The same issue when taught in GS, I just cut down all the thinkers. I just discuss what is the concept, how is the concept, why is the concept. But the same concept when taught in sociology, the backing of thinkers, research bodies, groups is also given. Because in the absence of it, we cannot validate it. Whether it is authentic or not, true or not, who is proving it and on what basis. Because that is what is making sociology scientific a discipline. And scientific not as a natural science, as a social science. Because when you understand something scientifically, that what is happening, how is it happening, then only you can provide meaningful solutions to the problem. That how things can be better and what kind of intervention or articulation can be done. Well, so Tilak, when I was discussing about the optional syllabus, you could see the syllabus paper 1, paper 2 in a simplified manner. It has been consolidated as one. Even when the workshop is over, if anyone is experiencing, because I can see, Vani, you were sharing that there is some technical glitch that you were experiencing, right? So any student who was or is experiencing any kind of technical slowdown, delay, glitch from your end, what you're supposed to do is revisit the lecture. And then you will get, because once it is in a recorded mode, you can just listen to it in one go and there will be no issues if you're having this given problem from your end related to some poor connectivity. That can be revisited. That applies to even the sessions. Once the session is conducted, once I complete a session, I provide the online access to the session once again to the student on the portal. So the child can revisit the session as many times as possible. Okay. Generally, you won't need like visiting a session more than 2 times. And anyway, no one is having so much of luxury of time. So, and if you get stuck in any issue, you can revisit the session. After revisiting, if you are stuck again, you can ask me. Then I'm answerable again. Other than that, with respect to it, when we are talking about today, there's a problem in the server. This is what I can see once in a while. Okay, so when we are talking about this given dimension, we can also reflect upon few other subsegments. We can consider that so as one of you, Tilak, you are asking that you have not decided your optional. So with respect to the optional, this is the syllabus you can see. The strategy, first my strategy, then the strategy that a student should have. I'll discuss that as well. So my strategy will be first to empower you with basic concepts. Then with after that, like the handout is also there to support you so that no dictation is there, you understand it. Then you can also find the booklet. Okay, so the booklet will be from all relevant academic sources so that you don't have to buy a list of books. All the list of books you have to study. The gist is prepared and shared in the form of a like booklet. You read. So suppose if someone has to purchase Ritzer, don't buy Ritzer. Ritzer with respect to thinkers or chapter 1, if there has to be something, it is in the booklet. Simple. But if still someone is like, oh, I wish I could see Ritzer, soft copy of the book is posted in the Telegram channel. Okay, same as with Harlambus and Holborn. It is an essential book for paper 1, especially politics and society, social change, social stratification. So if someone has to read Harlambus and Holborn, soft copy is in the book, like in the group. And with respect to the insights of Harlambus and Holborn in a gist manner, the important areas underlined and then typed, that is provided in the form of booklet. Okay. So Telegram channel. Okay, you also have another group which is for like technical and administrative support. So in that group, any technical support or administrative support that you need related to lectures, lecture planning, access to a session, you are getting stuck in something, you can reach out personally or you can post it there also. So the support is created from that group. So two groups you have an access. One is for the purpose of academic insight and only academic discussion. Second, for technical or management related support that you need and you want me to be involved or me to support accordingly. I'll help you reach out to the relevant people or also follow up the issue personally if your issue is resolved or not. Again, with respect to this given optional, other than like it being scoring or associated with the GS preparation, there is something more interesting associated with it. And that is nourishing you to become a great human being. Yes, the purpose of all this education, the purpose of all this learning is first and foremost to make you matured and seasoned as a citizen of this world, as a citizen of this country and this society, whereby you know how to be, how to exist and how to behave. And in the process, when you are like nourishing your roots, when you are nourishing your insights, you start, I can ensure this and promise this, that once the syllabus gets over, once like, the possibility of teaching you paper 1, 2 and all other relevant segments is over, after this course is completed, you will be a different person. You will be a person who is well read. You will be a person who is relatively more matured, is able to understand the unfolding of what's happening in the society more thoroughly. And moreover, you'll be able to have a problem solving attitude with compassion, with integrity, with a sense of accountability, with a sense of, I would say, the spirit of brotherhood and something which is core to, we can say, the civil services values. Okay. So you get more, I would say, polished as a person through and through, and all the rough edges that you possess in terms of how to observe society, how to observe the social phenomena, how to observe the interventions, like concepts like reservation, should it be there or not. In GS classes, on a thorough basis, it cannot be dealt, but you'll realize one full lecture devoted to the issue of reservation. In GS, you'll realize that issues of tribals, generally it is wrapped up within like 1 or 2 hours. Here, you'll find 2 to 3 sessions devoted for the issue of tribals. So you will realize that you start understanding your people. You'll start understanding your culture. You'll start understanding that how the political phenomena is unfolding, how various types of decision is impacting the different types of people, and what kind of approach you need to have to observe what is happening in and around you in the given society. All right. So that's something which probably I can suggest when you are talking about like how to go ahead with it. And Tilak, when it comes to like deciding the optional, choose the one which is closest to your heart. Because see, we teachers, we love our subjects. So we try to create as many segments, sparks and magic as possible. But once the session is over, it is the student who has to prepare the notes. It is the student who has to like appear for the test. It is the student who has to regularly revise. And once the course is over, so after the session is every day. So and yes, it is 5 days in a week, Monday to Friday. Okay. And the timing will be 1 to 3:30 p.m. And once I would say the session is over and then the course is over, then a student has to study and prepare it, right? No one else is going to run the race for you. In the close quarters of your house or your room, you will be just like studying and being thorough and diligent and updating and maybe reflecting and then adding few points. All that has to be done by you. I am there to like hold your hand and tell you, oh, this can be included, this cannot be included. This is relevant, this is not relevant. I can do as far as I can. But studying and memorizing, understanding is your game. So choose that subject which you want to read, which you want to learn, which you want to know, and you feel that it is going to meaningfully impact your existence. You would love to read it even when the teacher has completed the chapter or has taught the subject. Okay, you feel like reading. You're curious to learn more. You're curious to know better. Okay, you are ready to invest your energy to memorize if and where necessary. Right, and it applies to all subjects. Every subject is beautiful in itself. It is nourishing the civilization and humankind in all ways. All subjects are beautiful. All subjects are wonderful, irrespective of whether a mentor is available or not, irrespective of whether it is popular or not. Many people say, ma'am, English literature. I'm like, yeah, it's a good subject. Yes, you don't have a mentor, but nonetheless, it's a good subject. Every subject is good. What actually is needed. Now, the difference is when you have a mentor, something which you learn in a pace of 2 years or 3 years, a mentor can speed up your race, can just give you the right push, can fix your engine in the right direction. And as you are running, can also refuel your battery with the right kind of motivation, the right kind of energy, and the right kind of material. So distractions can be culled down. That's what I can suggest. Okay. So what time the syllabus would be completed? Well, Syed, on an average, it takes me almost 90 sessions to complete. Suppose if the batch is smart and fast, then in that situation, the syllabus can be completed, as it happened in one of the batches which I had taken during COVID. It got over by 84 sessions. And in one of the batches, it took 93 sessions. So 90 is the tentative number of sessions that I generally take. Rest is up to the batch. Like just previously, if I'm speaking of it, when I was discussing with the present batch, which is functional right now. So in that batch, I was teaching the chapter of like social stratification and caste system. So rather than taking 4 sessions, I saw that one more session is needed. I took that extra session because in the end of the day, the purpose of teaching is that a student should gain comfort and confidence in the topic. There is no rush that I have to finish the syllabus in so and so date and so days. But you can consider that if like in future, that is starting from September onwards, if I'm taking 5 lectures in a week, that's my target. So going by that, there will be like 20 sessions in a month. And again, if we reflect upon the same with respect to like 3 months, so in 3 months, 60 sessions, and accordingly, you can understand the 30 sessions which have 20 sessions to be specific, 22, 23 sessions which the previous batch has completed. Those sessions will like get added towards the end, and that is how like tentatively like about 90 sessions would get completed. So maybe the previous batch will be completing the sessions by first week of December, and your batch would be completing it somewhere around January, maximum by January. I personally would not appreciate any student to drag optional beyond January, because February is the time to revise and keep the optional. And March onwards, you should be exclusive to GS preparation, because only when you clear the prelims, you will get an opportunity to write the mains and use all the wisdom you have gained in the optional subject. So I personally do not encourage the stretching of an optional subject beyond January. Till January it is healthy, but beyond January it is not healthy. February is about revision. So you can always cut down the duration. You can revise for 2.5 hours, and that's fine. To bring you back to the rhythm, the moment you appear for prelims, for 1 month, you're supposed to just run through the material in a systematized manner with a timetable and go ahead with it. Yes, I have created a tentative timetable for mains exam, how a student should follow the timetable, and I have shared it in the group as well. And I've encouraged the students, this is the highest level you have to run. So you can just cut down the number of hours here and there, tweak it according to your timing, pace, when you have to get up, when you have to sleep, and accordingly work towards the preparation of this exam. Whereby how to place sociology optional along with GS classes and revision and the test that has been created. So any student who is disciplined and running with that given possibility can make it big. That's what I can say. Okay. If you're self-preparing, whoever is having the name Just Chillax from Nitin Sangwan, is it enough? No. Nitin Sangwan is a base book, an elementary book to introduce you to the world of sociology. It is more like, I would say, a gist of IGNOU and few other current sources clubbed together. That's what Nitin Sangwan is. After reading, and those who are into self-preparation, if you're, suppose you're reading Nitin Sangwan, complete, like, let's say, social stratification or complete thinkers from Sangwan, and then see the 10 or 15 years previous year question paper. So while going through the PYQs, you will realize there are a lot of segments which are not dealt properly by Sangwan. One. Second thing, the, like, I would say, one of the essential aspects of preparation of a topic is discussing and understanding the previous year question. If you're unable to interpret the previous year question just by seeing a word, you cannot say it is associated with this chapter. Like yesterday only, we were discussing about, we were about to start with Weber. So I showed the previous year question, and I showed that a colossal mistake in the way the previous year questions have been arranged and aligned by one of the publishing houses. So they had kept affirmative action, the topic affirmative action, under Weber. I was like, oh my God. I was like, affirmative action can be associated with, we can say, the interventional justice or the proportional justice that we try to create for vulnerable sections in across the world, not just in India, but across the world. Like, for example, reservation. Reservation is an affirmative action. So I was like, just by seeing the word action, we cannot say it is associated with social action. Okay, it will be like confusing if you are associating in this manner. That's not the right way to associate with the chapter. So this kind of wisdom, oh, this is not related to this, but this chapter, this kind of wisdom, this hand holding sometimes becomes essential. And that's what I said, that self preparation is also possible. If you are very thorough, very meticulous, very definite, you are following Central University professors, because now you can find a lot of good sources. I mean it. You can find a lot of good sources of university professors, even at YouTube. There is like CEC, okay, there is Ministry of HRD having a list of lectures which are really qualitatively good, and any student into self-preparation should follow them, okay. But they are recorded lectures related to the concept. Some extra hand holding related to PYQs, or like with respect to, we can say, how to prepare notes, with respect to how to reproduce, what more potential areas are there, what more potential type of questions can be created. That extra support you will have to seek from anyone who's senior to you, and whichever source you apply. It can be a senior, it can be a professor teaching at the university, okay. If you are not like capable of, or if you are not like, let's say, empowered right now to join the session, though you are curious and you want to learn. So that's what I can suggest, okay. So I hope, Syed, your issue is also covered up, and after that, paper 1 and paper 2 have some same topics. How the distinguish? Paper 1 is international in approach, paper 2 is Indian in approach. That's the primary difference, Muhammad Sadia, okay. So that's the basic difference when we speak of it. In paper 1 and paper 2, okay. So that's what you can reflect upon when we are talking about the difference. Could you please provide the Telegram channel? I'm so sorry, Auli, as you're asking about it. It is provided. Definitely, there are two types of Telegram channel that I hold if you search with my name. One is the public channel. I'm relatively not so active. I should have been more active, but like earlier I used to be regularly posting, but these days, like, you know, a bit of hectic work is going on, and I'm working at multiple levels. So I'm not so active right now for past, I would say, almost 2-3 months on that channel. But yes, I mean, I keep posting once in a while, like one article or two articles once in a while. I keep doing that. But daily basis posting, you won't find that. And the second one, the group, the Telegram group, which is a closed group, I'm really sorry and I apologize for that, but it is only for the students who have taken admission and who the management has approved. So there is a limitation to that. But yes, I mean, I do become regular and I keep posting almost daily in that group, because there is some or the other issue that's brewing and that can be posted over there. All right. So now, with respect to this, when we are taking up, so are there any other questions? Research and data analysis are key components of sociology. How can we ensure the integrity and objectivity of sociological research in an era which is spread with respect. Okay, yes. So that is the concern, what you're asking, associated with the post-truth world or post-modernity. The thinkers of post-modernity actually think like you, and I can sense that you have like a basic understanding of sociology, and that's why you understand the importance of research and methods. Because yes, data manipulation, factual manipulation, and thinkers of post-modernity, they say that in today's time, even a counter perspective that is getting presented has a backing of fact. Some or the other facts can be presented. So what to believe and what not to believe is under debate, and that is why they have a nihilist tendency. They keep negating the very possibility of qualitative and independent research. Well, we cannot deny the fact that information manipulation has become quite rampant in the present times. Still, like grassroots level data collection, independent research conducted by researchers across the world, like at ground level, and then after collecting the data, then processing it, theorizing it, and presenting it to the world through various journals is continual. Like just few days back, we were discussing about Whitehead. Whitehead, a thinker who's not a core part of sociology syllabus. You will not find the thinker Whitehead either in paper 1 and definitely not in paper 2. And a question related to Whitehead and caste system was asked. Now, caste system, if you see all those who are aware of the syllabus or will become aware of the syllabus, you will see that caste system is discussed like in the syllabus. It's mentioned. It is discussed from the perspective of G.S. Ghurye, M.N. Srinivas, Andre Bete. If I talk about popular thinkers, then there is Louis Dumont. Okay, we can also incorporate certain other thinkers like who have done village studies. Their insights is also incorporated. But Whitehead, one could never expect. But UPSC has a tendency to surprise us with questions. 5% questions can be as such which corners you, and it is for all GS papers, it is for all optional papers. That's a clear instruction given to the academician that give 5% questions which corners the student and makes the student feel, oh, I don't know anything about it. From where has this question come? Like with respect to marks, there was a question, fetishism of commodities. And students were like, from where has this question come? Or there was a question related to like serendipity of Merton. And students were like, from where has this question come? So once in a while, there can be questions associated with those areas. But that should not bowl you down. That should not pull you down. You have to be prepared with a given insight of a topic whereby you are able to build it accordingly. Anyway, when I'm discussing about this given area, or why I gave you the concept of Whitehead, because Whitehead, Judith Whitehead as her name is. So Judith Whitehead has contributed in past few years related to insights pertaining to caste system, class. She has made critical reflections from the British era as well as the present times. Okay, and she was published heavily in Economic and Political Weekly. And that is how the Central University professor, who must be reading her articles regularly, just thought to test whether a civil services aspirant is also updated about some recent sociologists or not. And that question was asked. So if we say that research methods cannot be accepted, or like independent research is not possible in the era of information collection whereby it is getting manipulated, then why would we entertain new thinkers, their research work, recognizing it even officially by raising questions around them? How would that be possible, right? So despite this, undoubtedly, there is this challenge of manipulated information or incorrect information. That's why it is encouraged in sociology that you go to the origin of the data, the original source, then collect it and then present your research. And that research, that it is authenticated, other people also provide their critical analysis to the research. And that's how sociology establishes itself even today in present times as science. And that is how you will be realizing this possibility that bit by bit, but it is taking in leaps and bounds, the subject is developing in the world of academics, holding greater relevance by combining its insights and perspectives with new realms, new subjects, new disciplines and areas of inquiry. I mean, this is not the present, but the future of sociology will be inquiring about people with artificial intelligence, and the correlation, the dynamics, the challenges, how it is going to impact other social structures, organizations and institutions. This is not there presently in the syllabus, but this is the future of the syllabus that has to be there. Because if you are inquiring about the society and its people, you have to make an inquiry about the potential changes and massive convolutions or transformations which they may undergo. All right. Again, any student who gets overwhelmed by, let us say, any program of answer writing, well, Mishti, I can run it, I'll be very honest, because if I'm holding test series regularly, answer writing program could have been incorporated. But for running a profound and a sound answer writing program, I personally feel that the concepts should be clear. And if the child has not been taught by me and the concepts are not very clear, and suppose I don't want to do a flimsy exercise that I have given a test and then to an answer writing program student and provided the model answer, and I'm asking the child, okay, refer and just do ahead with it. I personally feel, because once I did it and I was in my own moral conscience, I was not very satisfied. I felt that the child needs to listen to a proper lecture related to the concept, by explaining what was the demand of the question and what should have been the answer. When there is a course running, I'm able to do that. But suppose if an answer writing program is running and I'm just explaining the answer and what should have been written, only that is not sufficient, because when we explain an answer, we also understand that the contours of the concept, the correlated aspects of the concept are also not properly understood by the student. That's why the student could not arrive at that answer. That means there are some basic elementary insights of the concept which is also missing. And then you have the tendency to support, and then you're like, maybe just by doing an answer writing program, that will not be sufficient. So finding the in-between path is necessary, I understand, but meanwhile, we have not created it. This is the limitation which I'm sharing, Mishti, and that's why the course, because in the course, not only the answer writing program is incorporated, but the contours of the concept which are correlated and may not be understood by a student who is has got into self preparation and simply answer writing. But I'll definitely ensure this, that if I start any such program in October or November, it shall be posted to you through relevant sources, including my official Telegram channel, which is public and open. So you'll get to know about it. But I do understand that if something like that has to be created, it has to be more responsible than mere answer evaluation and key. Some extra effort is required. Otherwise, it is just like any answer evaluation program. It won't be sound enough. Should we have to follow functional perspective in our everyday answers? No, Sadia, because functionalist perspective is a conformist perspective, always looking into things from the perspective of, I would say, order, harmony, and justifying why a specific, we can say, phenomena is existing in the society. Whereas real life is based on both. What is happening, how it is justified, how it is maintaining order, symmetry and harmony, and at the same time, how there are seeds of contradiction, seeds of change, and how those seeds of change, when they fructify quantitatively, it leads to qualitative change in the society. You need a balance of both, functionalist as well as conflict perspective, blended together, along with an interpretative understanding, which Weber supports. When you have that kind of understanding, it is then that you, as a researcher, as an aspirant who is aspiring to understand society, develops a balanced outlook to interpret what's happening, how is it happening, and how it ought to happen. All right. So that's what I can support you with. Yes. What else? Attempt is in 2026. So when should I start with sociology? Well, Achal, with respect to this, you can start it next year. This is what I can say. This year, finish your basics, complete your basic books. Like you can complete NCERT, okay? You can, other than completing the NCERT books, you can also, you see, I don't want to push you into the admission, take it this year and this, okay? If you have already started the preparation, then you can think of taking the optional coaching this year, and next year you are taking answer writing program, and then when you mature with answer writing, then a test series program. Okay, and the next year, that is 2025, to the 6th version, when we are talking about it, at that time, quality enhancement, that's what needs to be done. Okay, that can be a systematic approach. But if you are doing your graduation, like let us say if you're a graduation first year or second year student, focus on your graduation, just complete the relevant subsegments, like by let us say following the material related to, we can consider the NCERT books. Once you have completed the NCERT books, you can also start reading IGNOU bit by bit. IGNOU needs a lot of time, and it is a very slow process because it is written by Central University professors to students who will not have a direct access to a professor, regular classes and seeing the, so the language is written as if a professor is speaking in great detail with great explanation and a lot of examples to a student. So a written printed material, the professor is talking to you. So it's very detailed, very spread out. UPSC, I mean, what you are reading in IGNOU, like in 10 pages, UPSC will ask you to write it within 150 words or 300 words. That's it. So 10 pages, gist, that's what. So that is the art that is taught in the class. But when you have a lot of time, you can start with a slow paced manner, but have a timetable. Within this number of months or weeks, I'll complete this number of topics. That is how, before joining the institute, you will be able to think of the possibility of having a wholesome understanding to the concept. All right. So again, one more thing, as all of you are understanding this session, so considering, because I have had students in the past, even in present batch, few students from Madhya Pradesh, from Odisha, who sometimes struggle with English. Their capability to understand the language becomes tedious, and I don't mince my words or compromise with my vocabulary or expression. So what I do is, after explaining the concept like in totality or sometimes thoroughly, after every 10 or 12 sentences, I try to present the gist, 1 or 2 sentences in Hindi. Okay, it's not a bilingual lecture, mind it, because I personally do not prefer bilingual sessions. When I speak English, it should be like full sentence in English. When I speak in Hindi, I see to it the entire sentence is spoken in Hindi. Because if you speak English, it corrodes and corrupts the perception. A child starts thinking in a mixed language, and in the exam, half the energy is wasted in translation of the content. I don't want your energy to be wasted in translation. I want your energy to be utilized in thinking and understanding the question, recalling the concept and writing it powerfully. So, for those students who, because of probably their schooling, academic background, because you are not responsible for it, but somehow the background can create that lacuna, that like break, or that shortcoming. So for that, those students, what I do, I've started doing it from the present batch. That is, I speak 10 sentences almost in English, 1 or 2 sentences in Hindi, explaining the same in Hindi, so that a student who is not able to perceive or catch up is understanding that in totality. And that also creates a mental break because the switch of language surprises or startles a student who is attending the session online or offline. And when you listen to it again, so if you don't understand the language belonging to some part of India where you are not very fluent in speaking or understanding Hindi, no problem, you're not missing out anything. But if you are from any part of India where you understand Hindi, which is like almost, I would say, 70% of the students, so you will be engaging with the concept once again in Hindi, but briefly, just 2 sentences out of 10 on a high side. That's what you will see. So that's also there. How many months for completing sociology? 90 sessions. I told you, little less, little more. We are open and flexible to that. All right. So any other questions, people? Any other questions? Please feel free to raise. Today we experienced some technical glitch, and because of which the session started a little late, and I was concerned. But I'm glad that all of you survived the challenge, the pain, and you were present. And it was very enervating to see that all of you were there. So, okay, all right. No problem, Mishti, you can just reach out to me. You do the exercise personally, you reach out to me, and then I'll explain you how to go about with it. All right, Mishti, that will be great. So, yes, people, any other question? All good, all good. So, with respect to this given course, if you have any inquiry, you can reach out to the management. I think I have spoken all the important segments, from how to prepare, what sources I would be using, my pedagogy, number of sessions, how this is helpful for your selection. And towards the end, I had created some slides. These were certain questions which I had created interesting questions which are asked from sociology, which generates a lot of interest. Okay, so what I'll do is, on my official Telegram channel, I'll post this, so you can just have a look at the session, pause the session, have a look at the session. If you really enjoy the questions and you're curious to learn about the answer, okay, like in the light of judicial intervention on live-in relationships, discuss the future of marriage and family in India. You see, such interesting questions are there. Or are traditional social institutions getting weakened as agents of social change in contemporary society? Can be asked in GS, is asked here in sociology paper 2. So if you're curious to learn more about it, okay, or how do you understand the minority question? Examine the violence and discrimination against the religious minorities in India, right? So if you're curious to learn more about the content of these questions, what these questions are all about, and how to attempt these questions, okay, so feel free to join the session. And first I'll explain the theory, the background, the insight, and then we'll deal with the current possibilities as well. So that's there, you can go ahead with it. The details of the syllabus you can find online also on the internet. And other than that, you will be also having an access to other than the groups and the channels, you will be having an access to some relevant material, okay, the we can say handout online on the portal. So be meticulous in downloading it and preparing it in a time bound manner. Okay, so I think majority of the concerns have been taken care of. Sociology book, there is no one book, there are a list of books, Anchal. Okay, so if you're starting with it, I told you can start with NCERT and IGNOU as a beginner, because I remember you are a college going girl, right? Maybe graduation first year or second year. So that's what can be suggested. Okay, so thank you all of you, and God bless you. Have a great day ahead. Let's meet once again with the new session. The new session starts on 1st, and thank you all of you. Thank you and take care.